Hi, my name is Art. I teach Python, and in this video I'm going to show you how you could create a data frame from a bunch of lists. Alright, so first thing first, let's import pandas as PD. Right, so always do this on the first line. Okay, so then suppose we have a couple of lists. Now again, you have to understand that list is a very popular Python container and most of the time when you gather information, maybe you use web scraping techniques to gather information, you would use a list. And then you want to take those lists and convert them into a data frame. And suppose here we have a bunch of lists, let's say cities, and here we have, I don't know, New York. Pretty much any city will do, New York. And then I have, let's say, Chicago. Then I have Orlando. And let's take one more. And let's take one more, Boston. All right, so suppose we have one Python list. All right, so then suppose we have states. All right, so states, and obviously New York is going to be New York, and Chicago will be Illinois, and then it's going to be Florida, and then it's going to be MA. All right, so that would be second list in this example. All right, and then suppose we have a population. All right, so don't take this seriously. This is just an example. And for population, I'm going to be using like random numbers. Suppose we have population in millions. All right, so and suppose we have 10.5 million people live in New York. And then we have somewhat, again, I'm making numbers just right up here, 4.5. And then Orlando would be 1.6. And then we have Boston would be, I don't know, like 2.5. So bottom line is we have three uh, Python lists. All right, so now what we want to do, we want to convert and create a data frame. All right, so how are we going to do it? Now we might want to create one more list. Let's call it labels. And in this list, I want to place labels for my future columns. And here I'll have like three columns. So it's going to be city, and then it's going to be state, and then another one's going to be population. All right, so you see I created another list. So then what I will do next, I want to take these first three lists and compose them as another list. All right, so I'm gonna call this list cities. I mean list data. Let's do it list data. So how we're going to do it, pretty simple, just use square brackets, and then what are you going to do? Here I'm going to place cities, and then I'm going to place states, and then I'm going to place population. So let's take a look. So list data, you see that's list of lists. Now let me remind you that you cannot use list as variable name because it's a function. So what we're going to do next, and let me scroll, you probably don't see it on the screen, but let me scroll it up a little bit so now you could see it. So list data is a list of lists, and what I want to do next, I want to use function zip. You remember zip? If you don't remember Python built-in function zip, watch my other video that I did before. I was explaining how to use list. I mean function zip. So here I'm going to use what? So here I'm going to use labels, and this new list that we just created, list data. So function zip always returns an object. It always returns an object, right? So we could actually unpack this list using function list. Let's take a look. Now let me remind you that what we're dealing here is we have a list because you see square brackets, and then this list contains tuple, and tuple, you see? So we have a list of tuples. Now all we have to do now is to convert this to a dictionary. So dictionary is another data set, right? So this is square brackets tuples, and each tuple contains one item, and second item is a list. All right, so now what we could do, we could assign its variable name data, and we could use dictionary, right? If you have no idea how to work with the dictionary, please watch my other video for that. So data, and now you see here we have dictionary, and dictionary always got keys and values. So in this dictionary we have city, state, population. So these would be three keys. If you doubt or if you don't know, you could always do keys, and you see these are the keys, and those would be the other the actual data would be values. All right, so now all we have to do, we have to create a variable name for our future data frame, pd data frame, and pass there this dictionary. So that is it, and now you have this data frame with the index, with columns, with all the values. So in this example, what we did, we had some information coming as a bunch of lists. We created another list with column names, and then we zipped those lists together, and then we convert them to dictionaries. So now dictionary could be easily converted to data frame. All right, thank you.